Today we're starting a new chapter, chapter 13. And chapter 13 is all about adding and subtracting with measurements. You are going to need to decide in this chapter, are you adding or are you subtracting? So when we look at our first question, it says, what is the total distance around the blue rectangle in centimeters? So we want the total. The total usually tells us that we're going to need to add, because it says here, do you need to add or subtract? So we're going to find out how far all the way around it is. And in order to do that, we're going to need to measure. So it does say in centimeters. So I'm going to line up with a 0 line. And it looks like here it's about 12 centimeters. So I'm going to write 12 cm. And in a rectangle, the other side should be exactly the same. And I did measure it to double check, but it sure is. It is 12 cm. Because in a rectangle, the two parallel sides are the same length. So this isn't a square, so we know this side is not 12. It looks like it is 6 centimeters. And let's check the other one, but I bet, yep, it is 6 centimeters. So to find out the total distance all the way around, we're going to need to add. We're going to add 12 plus 12 plus 6 plus 6. Whoops, not 16. 6. That's why you should be using a pencil. So I can write the total underneath to help me a little bit. 12 plus 12 is 24, and 6 plus 6 is 12. You are allowed to write it up and down if that's helpful to you. It's always helpful to me. 4 plus 2 is 6, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So 12 plus 12 and 6 plus 6 is 36, which means the distance around the blue rectangle is 36 centimeters. And if I wanted to be more precise, I could have put cm in each blank as well. So this is called finding the perimeter. The perimeter is the total distance around a shape. And this is a 3rd grade vocabulary word, but I figured that since we're doing it today, it wouldn't hurt to introduce you to that. So most of what you're doing today is finding the total difference around different shapes. So when you're finding, and you can look up here, when you're finding the total distance around the shape, or the perimeter, they're going to give you 2 of the sides. You don't need to measure, because if I'm measuring this book in inches, oops, this certainly isn't 9 inches because it's a picture. They're telling me in real life this would be 9 inches. So if it's 9 inches on this side, that means it's also going to be 9 inches on this side. And if it's 6 inches on the top, that means it's also going to be 6 inches on the bottom. So I want to add all 4. If I just add 6 plus 9, I'm not going to get the distance all the way around. I'm only going to get these 2 sides, and I want all 4 sides. So I'm going to add 6 plus 6 and 9 plus 9, or they like to do 9 plus 6 and 9 plus 6. Whichever one you want to do, whichever one you find is easier, you can do that. So this time I'm going to try it a different way. I'm going to try 9 plus 6, which I know is 15. And then again, 9 plus 6 is 15. I'm going to put them on top of each other. 5 plus 5 is 10. Regroup the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So in this case, it'd be 30 inches. Let's see. Did we get the same thing as they did? Yes, we did. So he also has another problem here. So most of the problems that you're going to be doing on this page are finding out the distance around the shapes. This one, by the way, you know that if this is 20, this one is also 20. Your job is to see, can you figure out the other 2 sides? So on the back page, page 764, you are not finding the distance all the way around. You are comparing. When you're comparing, you are not putting 2 things together. It says Ashley sunflower is 70 inches. Kwame sunflower is 60 inches. How much taller is Ashley sunflower than Kwame sunflower? So when we're saying how much taller, it's not saying how tall are they together. It's comparing. It's saying how much taller is one than the other. So if we're not putting them together, that means we're subtracting. Again, they're wanting here an equation. So we already said we are subtracting 70 inches minus 60 inches. Remember, you can always write it up and down if that makes it easier for you. 7 minus 6 is 1, so it's 10 inches taller. So when we're doing word problems, we're going to have a lot of these in the next week, and we have to decide what is happening in the problem. Are we going to need to put the numbers together, or are we going to need to compare? Are we going to need to subtract? So go ahead and do these 2 pages. If it is helpful to you, tomorrow we're going to be talking about cube again. You can certainly use cube to help you with these word problems. You can circle the numbers. You can underline the question. You can box key words. How much taller? We're trying to compare. And then you can evaluate. You can figure out what do you need to do in order to solve. Good luck, and I think that you will do great on math today.